Hello, today we're reviewing the book The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. I'm Alicia.
I'm Addison.
And I'm Maria.
Have you ever wondered what challenges people have to go through during the Holocaust time period?
Well, in this video, we will show you what life was like in this time period for a young girl named Anne Frank that wrote this extraordinary diary explaining her lifetime. This book is about the struggle Anne Frank faced daily while her family was in hiding from the Germans during the Holocaust.
First of all, Anne and her family are in danger at their home because German soldiers are searching day and night for Jewish families.
Jews were forced out of their homes every day and put on a train. The trains led these families to concentration camps to do unpaid labor for the Germans.
The Germans thought the Jews were dangerous, so many families tried to escape their cruelty and go into hiding.
Anne's family went with all their good friends at the Van Zandt family to an old warehouse to hide for a while when the Nazis were coming for the Jews.
They hid from the German soldiers in the attic of the warehouse. They called this hiding place the secret annex.
The two families made it safely to the secret annex with some help from a few other people that they trusted to provide them with the basic survival needs while they were in hiding.
We are reviewing the middle of the book, The Diary of a Young Girl. I'm Kirsten.
And I'm Emma. Niyib and Mr. Kufis provided these families with books, food, and information from the outside world around them.
As months went on, no big news had struck except bombing has occurred in the middle of some nights.
Life went on. The Frank family could do nothing but hide.
Anne and her sister Margot read and did reports until a new secret annex member came to the warehouse.
A doctor named Mr. Dussel came in with a fight against Anne. At this time, the atmosphere in the attic was bad, as the families were not getting along.
Anne and Mr. Dussel had a disagreement over the table space in a tiny room the two people shared.
After a while, the two worked it out, and they got over it, making the atmosphere better in the tiny living space.
In the end, the war was at its peaking point, and Anne's family was ready to escape from the secret annex.
Illnesses were going around and many people were dying.
Some people were taken by force and were sent to the concentration camps.
People were gassed, starved, and were forced to do unpaid labor in these camps.
Read the book to find out what happens next, and if Anne and her family make it through the end of the war.
I rate this book 8.2 out of 10.
I rate this book an 8.5 out of 10.
I rate this book an 8 out of 10.
I rate this book an 8.5 out of 10.
I rate this book an 8 out of 10.
The end. Thanks for watching.
Hi, I'm Charlotte, and I'll be sharing with you about my book, I Am Malala. This book is a biography written by Malala Yousafzai about how Malala was just an ordinary girl in Pakistan who loved to go to school. Malala heard about stories about the Taliban in other countries, but never thought they would come to her hometown, Pakistan. When the Taliban came, they told girls that they shouldn't and wouldn't be able to go to school. From a very young age, Malala knew that it wasn't fair, but that didn't stop Malala from going to school. Malala started getting interviewed about her bravery and how she's standing up for girls' rights. Soon, a war broke out with the Pakistan army and the Taliban, and Malala's family moved to Shandala for the next 3 months. Later, a Pakistani journalist wanted to show Malala's father something, and it turned out that the Taliban targeted Malala. Many months later, Malala was coming home from exams when the bus driver let a suspicious man on the bus, who shot Malala in the head. Malala woke up on October 16th in horrible conditions. Malala had many questions to ask, but couldn't because of a tube in her throat. Malala was in the Birmingham Hospital in England, and her father was home in Pakistan with the rest of her family. Malala eventually got the tube out of her throat removed, and many surgeries have been done. Malala was disappointed to find out that she was in a coma for a week and that 2 of her friends were injured. Malala cried for the first time in her experience when she saw her family. Months later after the incident, Malala got into the United States and met famous people who interviewed Malala. Malala won the United Nations Human Rights Prize and now is an inspiration to others for all the hard work she has done for women's rights. I would recommend I Am Malala to people who like biographies and for people who like a story where they didn't give up and they had to go over a lot of obstacles in their life. I would give this book like a 9 and a 10 out of 10 because it showed all the challenges that she had to have. They weren't relatable, but I just liked the book.
Hi, I am Jason, and I'm reading Bruno Mars. The author's name was Stephen Watson. I'll be telling you about Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars was a Hawaiian-born singer, songwriter, and recorder-producer whose music displays an eclectic variety of styles and influences, especially R&B and hip-hop. Bruno Mars was born October 8, 1985, Honolulu, Hawaii, USA. Bruno's parents are Bernadette San Pedro Bayot, Peter Hernandez. Bruno Mars became one of the hottest performers, but one night he was found doing drugs. He was arrested by the police. He did not go to jail, but he had to pay a $2,000 fine and did 200 hours of community service. He was very embarrassed about his drug use and promised to never use them again. In the spring of 2003, Mars graduated from high school. Bruno Mars first performed at New York City Madison Square Garden on December 10, 2010 at the Jingle Ball. I recommend Bruno Mars for people who like to read about famous singers. And I rate this book to 9 out of 10 because this is a really good book for learning about people.
Hi, my name is Shahir, and I'm reading about Thomas Jefferson, Man on a Mountain. This is a biography written by Natalie S. Bober, and it is about the third president of the United States. Thomas Tom Jefferson was born on April 13, 1743 in Shadwell, Virginia. He also had a sister named Jane, who isn't that much important. At Tom's second birthday, her mom died, sadly. As soon as that happened, his dad, Peter, adopted Tom and his family to an orphanage. Tom had lived in the orphanage for 15 years. When Tom was 14, his father, Peter, got sick and was sent to the hospital. Sadly, his father died, and he was 55 years old. At age 16, Jefferson wrote a letter to a friend expressing his desire to see more of the world. When he enrolled for college of William and Mary, he noticed that Williamsburg was way more different than Shadwell. There were tradesmen, shopkeepers, craftsmen, and slaves working as well. He made some new friends while at the college, Dabney Carr and John Page. Tom was a really good student, according to his teachers. Tom had only failed one assignment. He also served in the Revolutionary War too, and made the Declaration of Independence. His wife's name was Martha, and had two children. There's more things to discover in this book if you go to your local library. I would recommend this book for people who like history, and not for people who like short books and not too many details in it. And I would give this a 7 out of 10.
Everyone, I am Chelsea.
And I'm Sophia.
And today we'll be talking about dog facts. So I've been reading Dogs on Duty.
And I've been reading about guide dogs.
Now let's start with some facts. Dogs in the military can use their sense of smell to detect if weapons or explosives are located in rubble. Wow, guide dogs lead people who cannot see well. To be a guide dog, golden retrievers have to be 20 to 24 inches and weigh 55 to 75 pounds.
The trained dog trainer sees a toy called a Kong. And this is a picture of my dog with the Kong toy, and no, my dog is not in the military. The trainer hides the Kong and the dog has to try to find the toy by opening drawers and sniff under blankets and tarps.
That's cool. The best kind of breeds for guide dogs are German Shepherds, Labrador Retrievers, and Golden Retrievers.
And that's all for Dog Facts. On to Zoe.
Hello and welcome to Parrot Facts. Parrots by Mark J. Rawson is an excellent book and it will blow you away with things you didn't even know about parrots. An African gray parrot named Sparky Williams has a vocabulary of 531 words. The average parrot has a vocabulary of at least 20 words. A parrot eating is a fascinating sight in my opinion. They use their powerful beaks and flexible tongues in combination with their feet and crack open hard foods like nuts with great skill. Did you know that parrots are native to every continent except Europe? Australia is home to more species and more unusual types of parrots than any other continent. A cockapoo is my favorite parrot. Here's a short poem that a researcher has written to describe one. A parrot that booms by the light of the moon, an owl that eats grass and cries like a loon, a flightless green whatnot that waddles around, luffing and lolling like a hole underground. That's all I have on parrots. Now to Izzy.
Alright, Izzy here. Let's talk about lizards. Even though cats or dogs are one of the most popular pets, lizards are great too. You may not own a reptile, but these little guys are very interesting. Lizards have been around since the beginning of dinosaurs. Lizards generally have small heads, long bodies, and long tails. Some lizards can detach their tails when threatened. Most lizards have a diet of insects such as crickets, mealworms, and roaches, but few eat fruits, grasses, berries, and nuts. We have come to conclusions now, but Lizards by Dan Greenberg is awesome.
Hello, and welcome to Space Talk. Today we will be discussing the birth of what we call the universe. It all started with the Big Bang. It was a giant explosion that created these little particles called atoms. All these particles came to form our galaxy, the Milky Way, and many other galaxies too. As more particles form, more planets and stars form as well. Millions of years later, our planet was born. We later discovered that the universe is always expanding. Astronomers concluded that one opinion about the end of the universe might be that billions of years later, galaxies will float away from each other for farther and farther apart as space will last. Then there will be nothing left. This is Stars and Galaxies by Ron Miller.
Came back from the Marine Lab at Smithtown where we were studying a rare species named the megalodon, the largest marine animal in the world. It is the size of 3 large school buses. That is crazy. They said at the lab that the megalodon can possibly eat a T-Rex or 2. It also eats lots of fish. It must have been really hungry to eat that many fish. Bonus time! Did you know that the mako shark is the fastest shark in the world? It can reach speeds up to 12.3 miles per hour. We got more reports from the lab that the megalodon lived about 2.6 million years ago. That is all the information we have at the lab. Bye for now.
It isn't? Oh, okay.
Lots of fish.
My name is Lula. The book that I chose to read is called Sydney Crosby, one of the ancient top scores by Walt Disney Girl. The book is about a hockey superstar named Sidney Crosby. He played on the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's number 87 and he's the captain on the team, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Sidney Crosby has a sister named Taylor. His dad's name is Troy and his mom's name is Julia. Sidney Crosby was born in Cole Harbour, Canada. When he grew up, he wanted to be a famous hockey player and he played with his family. He played for 2 teams, Canada and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Sidney Crosby was born August 7th, 1987. Sidney Crosby is 31 years old. Sidney Crosby went to Southern New Hampshire University for college. In the 2003-04 season, Sidney Crosby earned a trophy for being the top goal scorer. Sidney Crosby won 3 Stanley Cups. Sidney Crosby got drafted to the NHL in the first round in a 2005 draft. I read this book at 10 out of 10.
Hello, my name is Tyler Cody. My book is about baseball Hall of Famers by Dave Kellogg. One of them was Honus Wagner. He was a great shortstop for the Pittsburgh Pirates back in the early 1900s. He was a righty,
batting and also throwing. He made his MLB debut in 1897 with the Louisville Cardinals. He had a .329 batting average. He won a World Series. He was an 8-time batting champion. He was a 5-time NL RBI leader. He played from 1897 to 1917, then managed the team for about 20 years. Also a 5-time NL stolen bases leader. He coached the team for about a year, but he died at the age of 81 in 1954.
Hello, my name is Jake Hutter. My book is about soccer superstar Cristiano Ronaldo by Gail B. Stewart. Cristiano Ronaldo played for 4 different teams, and they are in order: Sporting CP, Manchester United, Real Madrid, and recently he got traded to Juventus for 112 million euros, 129.19 US dollars. That's a lot. His favorite food is a balaka, a bras, and his favorite hobbies and interests are collecting cars, fashion, and music. His favorite song is I Believe I Can Fly by R. Kelly. He won 5 Ballon d'Or, a trophy that is an annual football award presented by French football. Out of all the facts this author gave me, there were a great amount of facts for Cristiano Ronaldo, so I rate this book a 10 out of 10.
It's Dylan Green. My book is called Football Champ. The author's name is Tim Green. My book is about a football player. He's 12 years old. He's on the best team. His name is Troy. He's on the Atlanta Falcons. Troy will be banned if they find out he knows all the plays, so he has to keep it a secret.
The Titanic was a very interesting vessel. The boat weighed 46,328.57 tons. The Titanic included 75,000 pounds of meat, 11,000 pounds of fish, 10,000 pounds of sugar, 36,000 oranges, 7,000 heads of lettuce, 40 tons of potatoes, 40,000 eggs, and 20,000 bottles of beer. There was only 1,000 lifeboats, and there was 2,208 people on board. Captain Smith was entering the ice zone. He was getting calls, and he didn't know because he didn't get them because of the bad connection.
1. The Titanic was traveling from London to New York. Elizabeth is a character from our story who wants to go to college, but her parents won't let her. Her parents want her to get married to someone that she does not want to marry. No matter how much she argues with her parents, they will not allow her to go to college. Another girl named Katie wants to be a singer and is on the Titanic from Seward, Germany.
Muhammad is a Syrian boy who wishes he is invisible. When he was a kid, his friend was bullied, and he and his friend decided to become invisible by not talking or showing their faces. Years passed, and his friend eventually died. Muhammad's brother is Mumin. His neighborhood got bombed by a Syrian gang. His house got bombed, and he only thought it was his house. But when he walked outside, he found out his whole neighborhood got bombed. Now he's going to Germany to get a better life. 1.
Joseph was in Nazi Germany, and his father was taken away to a concentration camp. They had no place to live without suffering. But one day their lives turn around. They get picked out many Jews from concentration camps to go on a cruise ship to Cuba, a neutral zone in World War II. Then they will go to America and be free. But on the cruise it isn't all fun and games, where the Nazi employees still are not thinking the Jews are anything, and it's just family. Isabel is a Cuban girl, and her family is going to the Americas on a raft they built in 1992. The rule was if you came to land when the Coast Guard didn't catch you, you would be able to become a U.S. citizen. If the Coast Guard caught you, you would have to turn around and go back to Cuba. Isabel is in trouble, and her family is near the Bahamas, and a ship is heading right for them. Their boat flipped, and Senior Costello is sinking, and Isabel dives in right to save him. Senior Costello dies, but they still get safely to the Americas. They settle in Miami, Florida.
I rate my book a 7 out of 10 because it was really suspenseful. It had characters who had feelings for each other and cared very much about each other. I didn't rate it a 10 out of 10 because it wasn't that interesting and it was like really predictable. Overall, the book was really good, but it could be better.
We rate our book 8 out of 10. I rated it 8 out of 10 because it had a really good hook, and the facts were really interesting because I really like historical fiction, world wars, and it's kind of my thing.
Well, I rate it 8 out of 10 because it kind of left me on cliffhangers sometimes, and I really like cliffhanger books, and it was very interesting.
I didn't rate it a 10 out of 10 because it didn't really give us it was kind of very predictable, the book, and it didn't really show us how the
The World War was so suspenseful for the Germans.
Yeah, I agree with
I rate my book a 10 out of 10. I rated it 10 out of 10 because it had many interesting facts, was very reliable, and was non-biased. Also, it was really interesting to learn how the Titanic was built. Also, it was very interesting how there were so many diverse people on the ship and they all wanted to pursue their different dreams.